Lately, I was watching an episode of Shark Tank, and I remember Dave and John asking one of the entrepreneurs that he wanted to invest in if he was full into his business yet, and that person wasn't. And I think he just put him on the brake pedal about him investing his time because the entrepreneur was not full in the business yet. So in this video, I will let you know, answer this question: is taking the leap what you need in business? Hi, High Achiever. I'm Fabienne Raphaël, business coach, and I'll help you monetize your knowledge so you can fire your boss. And today I want to talk about the expression taking a leap. So to me, when I think about taking a leap, it makes me think of, you're on top of a mountain and it's very deep and you don't necessarily see everything down there, but you trust that you will make it happen and you just jump with your eyes closed, okay? So to me, taking the leap, that's what it means, okay? Can you imagine? So I don't necessarily believe in that expression, especially when you're starting your coaching business, because jumping in the unknown is already what you're doing when you are starting a business that you have no clue about, especially if you don't have any business skills. You have your expertise, you have your gift, you have your talent, but you don't necessarily know if you will have all the right strategies to make that business grow or to achieve your goals eventually. So it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of insecurity. So do you want to add up to that stress and that insecurity when you decide to quit the job, but that your coaching business is not up and running yet, you don't have any clients in it yet, and you decide that this is how you're going to go? So I know that there are people that this is how they succeeded at it, like they just let everything else go and focus 300% on their coaching business. But I feel that it's not necessarily like the only option that you should have, right? You should have the option to be able to just decide to stay at your job and build your business on the side. So these are the things that you need to evaluate. Well, what type of income do you have? Do you have enough money to be able to pay your bills, to feed your family, and to actually have maybe a few extra activities if these are important to you, and if you have time for self-care or a little investment for that, which is important to keep your balance. What are your expenses? What are your savings? What are your goals? How long do you give yourself to have that business up and running? Do you give yourself 6 months or you give yourself a year? Some people give themselves like 3 months. No, this has to work within 3 months. Okay, so they double down on the energy that they're putting on it. And do you have an emergency fund? So if things happen, like, can you have access to money quickly in order to fix that problem? Okay, so you need to evaluate all of that before taking your decision on, like, should you take a leap? Should you leave your job right now? Or should you wait until your situation is better financially? How long do you give yourself the time to get these results? So I spoke to you about, different timelines, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Some people, they take like 5, 10 years before being profitable in their businesses. And why they do it this way? Because they do it very gradually, or, they're not stressed about having clients in a very regular basis. Some people, they just take clients once in a while, and then it gets them out of their routine at work. And this is what makes them joyful and happy and tip into their passion and helping others. And some other people are like, no, like, I give myself 3 months and I want to be very intense on growing this thing, because within 6 months or within a year, I want to get out of my job. Okay, so depends on you. I don't feel that there's any shame at keeping a job, even if it's a job that you don't like. Okay, because if your goals are clear about what you want to do in your business, then you will take the right decisions for you and for your family, for your spouse, for your partner, for everyone around you and all these people that you love. It's important also that you take care of that, because if you take a decision out of, okay, I want to leave everything, and then you don't think about all those aspects, well, you might be very disappointed, and the people around you who love you and who count on you, well, might be also disappointed. Okay, so your job, you could definitely see it as a transition to achieving your goal of becoming a full-time coach. And I spoke about that in a prior video about the fact that, you know, you could still have your job that you don't necessarily like so much, but have another view on it as, you know, the job that's feeding you the money to pay your bills, to actually have food on your table, you know, to be able to pay your rent or to pay your mortgage, and also to actually pay for your coach or for all the things that you have to spend for your business when you are starting out, okay? So basically that job could be a fuel to help you out building and growing your coaching business on the side. And then eventually, well, when you're done with it, when you achieve these goals that you have for your coaching business, you could leave that job and feel great with it. It doesn't mean that at that point you'd have taken a leap. No, actually, you would have mostly built a bridge between your job and your business, and then being able to go along that bridge and then get on the other side of it, which will be full-time online coach. What is important to mention also is that when you decide to go that route of building your coaching business, you got to make sure with your job that there's no conflict of interest. Be aware that if your, let's say, business helps leaders or managers and you are working with leaders and managers, then the company that you're in might not tolerate you going after clients within that company, okay? And sometimes you need to have that talk with your employer, with your boss, or with one of your colleagues about, well, this is a project that you have, and then you hope it's not conflicting with what you're exposing, especially if you're on a professional network and that you are, you know, saying that, well, you're a VP in this company, and then on the other end or at the same time, you're a life coach or your leadership coach and whatsoever. Okay, so you got to make sure that no one has a problem with that. And if they do, then you will have to take a decision, or you will have to find some type of arrangement between the two. And then just when you're ready, you do that transition. I mean, there's no recipe. I know an entrepreneur that she had accumulated 6 months of expenses, of, you know, savings, emergency fund. Like, she was okay for 6 months before she left her job, and she gave herself 6 months for her business to work. And actually, she succeeded at it. Some other people, they took some time to keep the job, and then eventually when the coaching business was bringing more money or than the job, then they were ready to leave, and then they continued to put the energy on their coaching business. I also know some people that never left their job. You know, they have a business on the side and they have their full-time job because that's how they feel balanced. That's how they want it. And it's okay too. The thing is, you just have to evaluate for yourself what's the best thing for you, and you take that decision and you live with it. There's no perfect recipe. So taking a leap, you don't necessarily have to do that. You know, you're the best person to answer that question. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.